Hi, and this is Milan of So Natural Wellness and also of the Chic Women Don't Diet program. So if you haven't had an opportunity to subscribe to this channel, then go on and subscribe right now. And also don't forget you'll get an update when I produce another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about my favorite French eating habits as a chic American woman. If you have read the book French Women Don't Get Fat, that means that you have either admired the French lifestyle, wanted to live in France, have lived in France, or you are a Francophile at heart. If you're a Francophile at heart, but still wants to lose a little weight or have reached menopause or midlife and starting to pick up some weight, then this is definitely the video for you. So after reading the book French Women Don't Get Fat, I wanted to do my own sort of a breakdown and analysis of what I thought about her book with a slightly different spin on it, an American twist for chic women that live in America. So one of the things that I love about her book is that her book was the instrument that pivoted me on the wellness journey. And if you love that book, you would definitely understand that that book has shifted the way a lot of women view and look at food. And one of the things that it got me to do is my level of consciousness with food started to change once I read that book. So we're going to talk about 3 habits that you can take away right now to apply to your life even after reading that book, because we don't live in France, and unless you live in France, unless you are French, a lot of what she said in the book you may not be able to identify with, but there are so many gems that I really loved about that book. This is my first takeaway from the book, and this is coming from someone who has studied culinary, someone who is a trained chef, someone who is a weight loss coach and a wellness coach. So I definitely understand a lot of the principles in that book, and I apply them with my own clients in the Chic Women Don't Diet program. But this is what I have to say about that book. First thing is that you have to eat with the natural rhythm of your body. And like I said, unless you're French, live in France, there are certain elements of the book is just going to be hard for you, point blank. But you can start to eat with the rhythm of your body. And what that means is making sure that you're eating consistently with similarities. For example, when you dine out versus when you dine at home, maybe when you dine at home, you eat a certain way, and when you dine out, you eat a certain way. Well, try to make those two match. If you don't overeat in a restaurant, don't overeat at home. And if you are very cautious about what you eat at home, how much you're putting on your plate, then definitely make sure that you're doing the same thing when you're dining out. The same goes for traveling. Sometimes we have the tendency to eat a certain way when we're traveling and we're dining out with friends and family. Well, the same thing applies. Be consistent with your eating. Your body is on a cycle that you put it on. You can train your body to expect food. When a lot of the clients that I've worked with, they complain that they don't eat breakfast in the morning. They're just not the type who like to eat something when they get their day started. If you're not someone who enjoys eating breakfast in the morning, it's okay. You don't have to. Not everyone is a person who likes to eat at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. in the morning, but you must break your fast. When your body is sleeping and fasting overnight, you have to break that cycle. When you break that cycle is entirely up to you. I don't get into you need to intermittent fast. That is a personal choice. And I just want to put my disclaimer in this video that if you are under doctor's care, before you change your diet, or if you're pregnant or nursing or have underlying medical conditions, you definitely should see your doctor before changing your diet. But the first thing I want you to really be clear that you can train your body to start expecting food at a certain time. My body is on a clock, 11 a.m. And it's often funny sometimes because even my friends know, my husband knows that I am on a clock. I need to eat by 11 a.m. because I have ultimately trained my body to start expecting food about that time. And when you start to feel irritable, when you start to feel edgy, uneasy, or temperamental, then start looking at the signs. Start looking at the signs that your body is giving you. And And you may be working through those signs. Sometimes women, we're so, especially if you're type A, you're such a multitasking and must get things done that you forget about what your body ultimately needs, and that's nourishment. So you want to train your body to expect food at a certain time. And the other thing that you want to do in order to get your body back into this sort of a rhythm of eating in this cycle is you want to schedule yourself in to eat. So that is your time. And unfortunately, you may be going through the day and not doing this. There is nothing that is more important than you scheduling yourself in for your time. And when you schedule yourself in for your time, that means you're not eating in a rush. You're eating very mindfully. You are making sure that what you're eating is what your body needs. That means you're eating with lots of color, lots of texture, lots of taste. You are eating with the right amount of fats. So you're making sure that your body has texture. You can get the texture from nuts and seeds. And one of the things that I love to do when I'm dining at home, and I know being a chef, that puts me at an advantage. However, what I teach my students in my Chic Women Don't Diet programs is that there are several different ways you can do it. If you're at home, there are a lot of things that we have around the house, and especially when it comes to snacking. And some of the things that I always try to make sure that I have in terms of snacking are nuts, because what I can do if I haven't snacked up all of the nuts, which I typically try not to, if I haven't snacked on all of my nuts, what I typically do is I take some of the nuts, like my walnuts, my pecans, or pecans, whichever way you choose. It's up to it's however you choose to pronounce it. So I take my walnuts, my pecans, and I will also have pine nuts. I have sesame seeds. I have hazelnuts. So those are some of my favorite nuts that I typically have around the house. And I put them in a cabinet on a shelf that is specifically designed for things that I want to toast. So, all of my nuts. So I will put them there. So out of sight, out of mind. So that way I'm not snacking on them. And then if I want to put it on top of my salad, or if I want to put it on top of my vegetables, I can do it because they're right there. I can just pull them out, put a few of them, maybe a handful, a little less than a handful, put them on my sheet tray, pop them in the oven for up to 350 degrees, and stand there. Definitely make sure I watch it because they burn very fast. So you really want to make sure that you're standing there paying attention to what you're doing. And then I wait until I start to smell that essence of the nuttiness, and then I take them out. Or if you don't want to do them in the oven and you think that you may burn them, then put them on top, put them in a skillet, a saute pan, and just sort of shake them. And after a while, you'll start to smell the nuttiness, and you can take them out. So you just want a slight browning effect on your seeds. So that's how you can get some healthy fats to your food. So you definitely want to make sure that you're eating in a natural rhythm, allowing for this taste, texture, and flavor, allowing for your body to expect food at a certain time. You can even start to train your taste buds. A lot of women grow up with this idea that I don't like that. And I have never lived in a generation where there's so many choicey and picky people. And I realize that there are certain limitations. People have inflammatory reactions. People have immune imbalances. And I completely understand that. But then to say that you don't like something and you just have never given it a chance, you just didn't try, or you didn't have it the right way. One of my students in my Chic Women Don't Diet program, she didn't like polenta. She didn't like, she had never even tried celery root. So once I showed her how to make it, she loves it. She loves polenta now. She loves celery root puree, or even just celery root. She just loves it because it's an amazing flavor, and it's an amazing taste, and it's very bold flavors. So now that you understand how to put your body on a rhythm to start expecting good food, expecting food that's flavorful, food that's healthy, food that's nutritious, food that has lots of taste, texture, and a variety of different types of food. The next thing you want to do in order to bring in some of your favorite French habits. Then the second thing that you need to do is don't deny your cultural way of eating. And when I say don't deny your cultural way of eating, don't deny it, but modify it. So there's so many different ways that you can start to modify your cultural influences in the way you eat, so that maybe you're not French. You can't eat like the French, but you can definitely eat like a French. You can inculcate the French eating habits into your life as a chic American woman. Don't change your cultural way of being, just modify it. So if your cultural way of being is eating a lot without actually being present with your food, start being more present. Start taking notes of the smells. What are the herbs and spices that you're smelling in the air? What are the herbs and spices that you're tasting in your mouth? And if you have cooked it to such a degree where you no longer taste the herbs and spices, then you've went too far. Then you've lost all the benefits and the flavor of the nutritional elements of the food. And you're not going to have that French eating experience as a chic woman. In my cooking course, the Chic Women Don't Diet, Chic Cooking Academy, one of the things I teach my students is to really be present. And when I work with my one-on-one clients, I'm always teaching them on how to be more present and mindful when you're eating. And that is really the French eating habits, the way that they do things. Because after I read the book, French Women Don't Get Fat, and I was excited because it was something I was doing in my business and with my clients. So I was really excited to see it written down and see that, this is how other parts of the world they're eating. And the more I had this experience of being around various different cultures, then that put me in a position where I was able to really grasp what it means to sort of have this French eating lifestyle whenever I dine at home or even when I'm dining out. The third step of my favorite French eating habits as a chic American woman is to reframe how you eat. That means setting an intent before dining. If you have went all day without eating, then you are naturally going to gorge. So when you start to eat healthy as a lifestyle and eat this sort of a French eating habits way of being, or the Mediterranean way of being, then your presence is different. You will make sure that you're having breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because it's not just a French woman's way of eating, but that is a chic woman's way of eating, to set an intent to not just eat all during the day as if you're bored with nothing completely to do. There's always something to do to occupy your mind and your thoughts. So start to do something other than eating. And also decide how much you will eat. Often, and especially if you're married, you have this tendency to eat on the cycle of someone else. Like, for example, you may be eating on the cycle of your husband. Stop it. We can never eat like a man. Our bodies are made in a very feminine way. It is made in a way where we are not going to burn off food like a man. So why even try to eat like one? If your husband loves, having his beer and brats, the total American thing, you can't try to do it with him, because it's not the way your body is designed to do it. If one is sufficient for you, or maybe a half of one is sufficient for you, then that's okay. But start deciding how much you'll eat. Whenever you're dining out, and especially now that the country is opening up, start to eat half of your food and send half back. And if you don't think that you can control eating half and sending half back because the food is just so good, then ask for half to be packaged and then eat the other half. And then you should be fine. But I always say that if you're eating an 80-20 rule, that means 80% of the time that you're eating very well, you're eating as a chic woman should, and you're eating that French eating habits lifestyle, then you'll be fine. Then at 20% of the time, if you want your gelato, if you want your chocolate mousse, if you want whatever you want, you can have it because you have earned it. I don't want you to deprive yourself. I don't want you to feel that I need willpower. You don't need willpower. You just need a slightly different way of looking at food and having this sort of a appreciation and respect for the gift of food, the gift of dining. And that's what I teach. Because once you start to look at food as an art form, then many of your menopausal symptoms will diminish. Your inflammatory responses will diminish. Your stomach will start to de-bloat. You will start to reduce the signs and symptoms of flatulence after you've eaten something. You will start to lose the weight, and ultimately your body will be very gracious and thank you for it. So if you've been encouraged by this video, and if you love what you just learned right now, then I want to invite you on a call with me. And my Chic Women on Diet Makeover call, it is a 30 to 45 minute call when you and I get clear on your goals. What is it that you want to accomplish? What is it that you want to do in terms of living a healthy lifestyle? Because if you've been trying to get to feeling comfortable in your skin again and really feeling good in your clothes, then we need to get on the phone. And if you've been frustrated that you just can't seem to get there by yourself and you need support, I want to support you. I want to be here for you. And I want to show you how you can start to infuse self-care in how you dine, infuse self-care in your life, making sure that you're planning and making time for you to dine well and eat well and enjoy my favorite French eating habits as a chic woman. So until our next time together, stay beautiful and healthy.